Hi guys, how's it going? Mr. Voelger here. So I graded your first assignment and we got some stuff to talk about. So first things first is here's your assignment over here. And a couple things I noticed. I took some notes on this to help you guys out. First thing I noticed, right, is this isn't last year's social studies class. Just gonna put that out there right now. So with me, like, I am going to be doing things that you might not be used to. The class is probably going to be a little bit harder than social studies has been in the past for you, and so I just want, there's no reason to panic, right? I just want you to realize that my standards are going to be higher than what you might be accustomed to, and so you're going to have to elevate them a little bit to kind of meet that. Like, I grade my assignments, I try to do it pretty regularly and fast, at least within that week. And I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. Number two, I noticed a lot of the similar problem with all the kids. Like, I literally wrote, I think the same comment to like 50% of the students, and that is, ask me for help. If you're confused, don't hesitate to ask me for help. That's why I'm here. Like, I respond pretty quickly, and you don't have to like call me or even visit me in the classroom if you don't want to. You can literally just message me in the comments of the assignment in Google Classroom, and I will try to give you the answer, or at least arrange to meet with you and help you. That's why I'm here. Totally going to help you. So just be aware of that. So let's go through this assignment real quick. Now, some of you, I'm allowing you to redo it. Put in the comment, I would like you to redo it. The kids who got zeros can redo it. Now, why would you get a zero? You got a zero for two reasons. One, you didn't do the assignment. That's a zero. Or two, I don't accept low quality work. This is not a quiz. If it was a quiz, I would give you a 50 or, failing grade. But it's classwork, and it doesn't count for that much, right? All of our classwork is 40% of our grade, but I'm going to be giving a lot of classwork out throughout the quarter. So each individual assignment doesn't really count for that much. And so I don't accept it if it's not up to a minimum standard of passing. So if you would get below a 65, I gave you a 0, and I told you to redo it. And that's just kind of my rule of thumb when it comes to classwork. Projects, essays, assignments, you could get a failing grade, but not on classwork. You either get a 0, and I tell you to redo it, or I give you a passing grade, because that, it's not there to punish you, so to speak. It's there to kind of help me teach the lesson, all right? So one thing right away that I noticed is kids aren't reading the questions fully. So if you look at an assignment, this isn't like a handout, a piece of paper in class. There are links in here, right? So you need to look at the title, Uncle Sam's Thanksgiving Dinner. You need to read the little directions or paragraph or whatever's there, okay? It says, this cartoon was drawn by Thomas Nast and published by Harper's Weekly on November 20th, 1869. Gotta move this over a little bit. Leading this diverse Thanksgiving day is Uncle Sam, carving the turkey on the far right, and Columbia seated on the far left, the female personification of America. And Uncle Sam is the male personification of the U.S. government. That means these people aren't real. Uncle Sam is not a real person, and neither is Columbia. These are two imaginary figures that represent something. Uncle Sam represents the government, and Columbia represents the United States herself, okay? So they're not real people. A lot of kids, when they put question 2, it's like, whose plan for Reconstruction this was? They put Uncle Sam, right? Because it says it's his Thanksgiving dinner. Makes sense, except he's not a real person. So it's really Abraham Lincoln's plan, or Andrew Johnson's plan, or Ulysses S. Grant's plan, because they all shared the same plan. Or you could even put like the North's plan. Here, let's keep reading, right? Behind Uncle Sam is a painting of Castle Garden, which was the main entry point for immigrants to the United States until it was replaced by Ellis Island in 1890. The cartoon's aim was to promote ratification of the 15th Amendment of the Constitution to guarantee voting rights regardless of race. So the 15th Amendment gives voting rights regardless of race, basically gave African Americans the right to vote after the Civil War. All right, so we got some information there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to fully read the questions. Identify 4 different ethnic groups sitting at the table. Well, I look at the picture, and I got to make that judgment, right? I see an African American, maybe an Asian American. I see some Native Americans over here. I need 4. I see, it looks like a Middle Eastern American. I see just standard, regular, white, back then, powerful Americans, maybe some females, things like that. I can write that in here. It says, whose plan for Reconstruction is most likely shown here? Now, I just said it's Abraham Lincoln's, right? But let's say you didn't know that. These links, we have Thomas Nast, a little biography about him, and we have Harper's Weekly, a link. So I could click on these links and it actually is going to show me a little bit more detail as to if I'm confused about a question. So if I need more, if I don't know whose plan for reconstruction this is, I can click on this. I can click on the link. It's going to take me to a website looks like this. And then I read about it, okay? And if I read about this, it should tell me whose plan for reconstruction this is. So if I look here, it says, I'm not going to get too much into it. Oh, look, it says seated at the table. And look at all these people. So there's the answer for number 1, right? But if I keep going, this cartoon also has specific endorsements for ratification of the 15th Amendment. The 15th Amendment is passed by Congress. The Republican-controlled New York legislature ratified the measure. It talks about the centerpiece, which I know is another question. Does it talk about the plan, right? We're looking for a plan. People, Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. So if I read through here, it will tell me the plan. I just can't find it. It's Abraham Lincoln's plan. So we go back to the question, put in Abraham Lincoln. What's the main idea of this cartoon? Okay, again, I can go back to my link and I can look at what this reading is. I don't have to figure it out for myself. I'm just an 8th grade student, okay? So I use these links to help you. If I keep going, another problem, I'm going to skip 4 for right now, but another problem is, do you feel this image would be controversial to many Americans? Some students put yes or no, but they didn't read the full question. It says explain. You have to explain yourself, okay? And a general rule of thumb is if you do not understand your answer, if you can't explain your own answer, then don't write that answer. Because if you can't explain it and that's your answer, that's not something that I want. So please, if you don't understand the answer, before you write anything, do further research. And that means click on some of these links here, okay? Read about it. If you're still confused, and this is the number one thing that I wrote on a lot of kids' comments, is I wrote, please reach out to me. Mr. Voelger's here to help. Like, I like this stuff. So please reach out and ask me. And some students did, and I got back to them. But if you didn't, please know, I don't know what it was like for you in the past, but I will always answer and I will always help you, okay? Another question that a lot of kids had trouble with was, what do you think is meant by the centerpiece? So if we go here, the centerpiece says self-govern, universal suffrage. But if I read the link that I just clicked on, if you go here, it had here, the centerpiece of Thanksgiving table is a monument to self-government and universal suffrage, while a sash being designated the 15th Amendment. It explains in the link. So the answers are right there for you. But let's say you didn't click the link, right? Universal suffrage is voting rights. So another thing I could do, right? I could click here. I can go to good old-fashioned, there's a great website called Google. Go to Google. And I type in suffrage or universal suffrage, right? And I click it. Universal suffrage, also called universal franchise, general suffrage, and common suffrage, gives the right to vote to all adult citizens. So I can Google one of the things and go, oh, so now if I go back to the answer, right? And the question was, what do you think is meant by the centerpiece? I could say the centerpiece is about giving all adults the right to vote. Okay? Now, I want to write in full sentences. This is school, right? We're not texting each other. So if you're going to text, you might abbreviate. In school, no abbreviations. So don't write anything in abbreviations. You want full sentences. That's rule number 1, right? Simple. If you don't know, you either do some further research, use Google, use the links, or reach out to Mr. Voelger or your parents. Don't just put "I don't know" as an answer. That's unacceptable. Okay. I also notice when I grade these, I put comments in. And I notice in the app, if you're looking at the graded work in your cell phone app, the comments don't come up. I believe you have to use a computer to look at my comments. And so if you're curious, why did Mr. Voelger give me an 85 or a 70? What did I get wrong? I looked on my phone and he didn't seem to write anything. If you go on a computer and you actually bring up your assignment, you'll see all the comments that I made. And so that's just You can check that out. And if you don't see that, come see me, and I'll tell you why. Has some notes here. Use the links. Explain your thoughts. That's it, guys. Pretty simple. So on these assignments that I give, I'm not going to grade everything I give you. Like, you'll know, I'll tell you, like, I'm going to check to see if you did it. If it's something that's like a quick assignment, I'm going to be checking. And then if you're doing it, if you're trying, effort is key, you get 100. But some assignments, at least 2 to 3 a week, I'm going to be grading like this. And so you have to make sure you put effort in, and you have to make sure if you're confused, you reach out for help, okay? And just be aware of that. This is not last year's social studies class. This is I'm going to be checking this stuff. I'm going to be grading this stuff. I'm going to, it's going to be a little challenging at first until you get used to it. So that is a little review of this. Please use the links. I don't want to give all the answers out, right? But they're here. And if you're still confused, I know another question right off the top of my head. It says, the last one, how does the history of Thanksgiving in America contribute to the artist's message? Well, Thanksgiving is about giving. And sharing with other people who are different than you, right? The Pilgrims were sharing with the Native Americans, and they were very different with them. But this cartoon is not about Thanksgiving. This cartoon is about bringing America, the different races of America together and giving them equality. And the artist just used Thanksgiving as a platform to get that message across. If you look here, another question, number 4, in which region of the country might this cartoon be most controversial? Well, this is right after the Civil War. What region of the country? That's a place, right? Geography. What region of the country might be against having different races being treated equal? And right after the Civil War, that, of course, would be the South, right? I think it would be the South. I always do that with my O's. Capital. It would be the South, right? Because they just fought the Civil War, and they did not want to give African Americans equality during the Civil War, which is why they fought the war. And so that would be the South. So I hope this little video is helping explain to you, like, how I'm going to be grading assignments and what I expect from you guys. And like I said, if you got a 0, you're more than welcome to redo it. If you didn't get a 0, don't worry about it. Don't worry if I give you a 70. It doesn't count that much. As long as you do good on the next assignments, that grade's going to shoot way up, and that 70 is barely even going to move the total point by 1. So don't even worry about it, okay? You just know that Mr. Voelger has standards, and you know what you have to do. And if you're confused, which is totally fine, we all get. I walk around confused like half of the day, okay? So if you're confused, reach out. I had one student, I'm not going to use his name, one student reached out with this assignment. And it was about one question. They said, Ms. Voelger, I don't understand question number 2. That was it. One kid. Out of how many students? I have 120-something students. One student reached out. And yet a lot of kids got 70s and some kids got 0s. So if you're confused, reach out. Ask for help. Have to do it, okay? So that concludes this little video, and I'll see you later. Bye.